What happened this weekend? What lies ahead? Analysis and insight from the inside. This is Big Orange. Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
This is Big Orange Rewind. With the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, and VolQuest.com's Brent Hubbs.
So glad you're with us for another edition of Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's. Your text questions at 865-657-1278. Tennessee wins in basketball on Sunday over an undermanned Gardner-Webb team, 94-52. This was not a great surprise. The great surprise is that Gardner-Webb held Tennessee scoreless for the first 3+ minutes of the game. But after that, it was pretty much as you would expect. Tennessee bigger, stronger, more talented, showed it. We'll certainly discuss it during the course of this program. Let's talk, Brent Hubbs, about some of the news of the day football-wise to begin. I guess we lead with the story that probably, I don't know if it surprises people anymore, but in terms of when it comes, it seems like a bit of a surprise. And that is Peyton Lewis has announced he's going to enter the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, anymore, the timing of it, there is no real rhyme or reason to the timing of it. I mean, Oregon just had a backup cornerback go in the portal this afternoon, and he's not going to be with Oregon the rest of the playoffs. Got a chance to win a championship, and he's not going to participate with his team the rest of the way. So, you would kind of think Tennessee's going to practice Monday and then break for the holidays. So anybody who practices on Monday, you certainly feel like they're going to be on the team through the bowl game. Now, there can still be some people go in the portal after the bowl game, but it feels like the roster may be getting pretty close to set. I don't think the Lewis news is a shock that he's not going to be a part of things moving forward. But he did go through, 10 days of bowl prep here.
Yeah, he'd been here
before he left. So, but again, the timing of everything is obviously an interesting deal. And so, I mean, if you get to the bowl site and somebody said a player's not there because they decided over the Christmas break to enter the transfer portal, honestly, Mike, that's probably not shocking news to anybody anymore at the timing of anybody doing anything in this day and age of football.
Yeah, I would guess so. Now, let's talk about what it does for the bowl game for Tennessee at the running back position. Obviously, they have Deshaun Bishop, who's 17 yards short of 1,000. Okay. They also have Star Thomas, who rushed for 529 yards and 7 touchdowns, caught a couple of touchdown passes. I mean, they probably got enough to get through. DeJuan Morris is there. Justin Baker is there. That's not going to be a problem. But Thomas is gone at the end of the year. They don't have a back in the class, correct?
Correct.
So, I mean, this is going to have to be a portal target, right?
Yeah, I think you have to go get somebody experienced in the portal. Obviously, they clearly like DeJuan Morris and where DeJuan Morris is at and kind of his progression. You saw him get more work the back half of the season, certainly the last month of the season. I would think he would factor into things in the bowl game for them as well. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt you're looking to go into the portal and get a back to go with Morris and Deshaun Bishop and go that way. The question is, what caliber of back do you get? What's your financial allotment for running back out of the portal? All of those things is something that you will broach and look at, moving forward here. Can you survive with 3 if everybody stays healthy? Yeah, you can make it with 3, but you really need 4 guys, on that roster at that position. So I would think they would be portal hunting for a running back.
For a veteran presence.
Yeah, someone who's got experience. I don't think you're going to go looking for a redshirt guy who's coming in with 3 years of eligibility. I think you're looking for a 1-year guy.
You're looking for Star Thomas.
You're looking for Star Thomas, who can come in and be a complement to what you have, and then it doesn't affect your future recruiting as well. So I think you're looking for a stopgap guy for depth purposes and an experienced guy. Quite frankly, Mike, I think it would not hurt to look for a guy with quality hands that could be a part of the backfield, out of the backfield in terms of a pass catcher as well. I think we see that more and more in the game these days, whether it's the college game or the NFL game. So many of these teams are playing that balloon coverage back behind, dropping 2 safeties deep. To be patient, throw it underneath. there's a lot of stuff available to tight ends and to the tailbacks out of the backfield. Tennessee tried to throw it more to the tailbacks this year out of the backfield. They didn't catch it well enough. That's something that has to improve moving forward if they're going to continue to try to build on that element of their offense.
All right, let's get to the questions from Vol fans who have sent them in via the text line at 865-657-1278, and we're taking as many as you can fire our way for Big Orange Rewind. Justin in Georgia, what young linebacker needs to step up in the bowl game and next year with Arion Carter moving on to the NFL?
Well, I think you start with Jaden Perlotti is where it starts at, and that's a guy that you like. There's a lot of things about his game that you certainly like, and I think he's the first one in line there. You got Edwin Spillman, you've got Jeremiah Thielander, then I think Perlotti's there, and then where's Jaden Harmon? That's a guy who flashed early, didn't flash as much the back half of the season, didn't get as many opportunities. Where do you think you are with him? I think that's another position for 26, not for the bowl game, but for 26. I think you're portal hunting there at that position too. Now, I love the Rouse kid coming in. We've talked about him, Mike. I think they've got some quality, linebacker players that are young players. But I think you could go get a veteran presence at that position as well to go with what you have coming back and build off of that. So, But the interesting thing about the linebackers is, what we're all trying to figure out is what does Jim Knowles want out of a linebacker? What does he look at that he has on this roster? How does he see how they fit versus what he needs or what he wants at that position? How do you adjust accordingly? Now, Edwin Spillman's the guy he recruited to Ohio State heavily. So he knows all about him. What has he learned in his observation of the group of linebackers over the course of the last 10 days? When you start talking about moving forward to 2026.
Mike in Springfield, any word on the timeline of the Joey Aguilar lawsuit regarding his potential extra year?
I don't have one. And I to be honest with you, in having conversations with Joey Aguilar this week, he doesn't have one. It doesn't feel like that's got a lot of optimism. That doesn't feel like there's a whole lot moving with that one right now in terms of kind of who's pushing that, who's driving that train. Joey doesn't seem to know a whole lot about it, when you ask him, or at least he doesn't want to get specific about it. And when asked if he would be interested in coming back, he's wanting to play this game, and then wherever the chips fall after that, it's where the chips fall. So I think the portal window is going to be closed by the time that we get towards moving in that direction. At least that's what it feels like right now. Anything could happen, but hey, it's Christmas week. How many judge rulings are you going to get? How many court appearances are you going to get this week and next week? A lot of those agencies close to end the year for a couple of weeks. Well, you come back out of the bowl game, the portal opens 3 days after the bowl game. So it's going to move fast here, and it doesn't feel like anything's immediately on the docket right now.
Hunter in Bowling Green, what is your opinion of pursuing a quarterback in the portal with Joey's ongoing appeal? Should we ride with the young guns and grab a backup out of the portal?
Well, you got to get somebody, and you do. You need a third quarterback on your roster, a third guy. And I think you would want an experienced guy, somebody who's got a little tread on their tires. The question is, and I don't know the answer to this. This is Josh Heupel's question to answer, and that is there somebody in the portal out there that would be, I won't say affordable, but someone that financially you can make it work, that you feel like would be a real difference maker for you over and above what you have on the roster right now? Or do you feel like when you look at what you evaluate in the portal versus what they're asking for, are you more apt to going and getting someone who's maybe of lesser value or lesser price tag, spend that money on some other positions? Or do you feel like, hey, I really like where George McIntyre is. I like Faison coming in as a freshman. We've won with young players before. We'll ride with young players, and then we'll go get a quote cheaper veteran backup, if you will, and go that way. That's what Josh Heupel's dilemma is. That's what he's trying to decide what to do, because the price tag on some of these. I mean, I don't know if people heard this, but this was on game day, I think, yesterday morning.
I heard this.
I think Pete Thamel was talking about a $5 million price tag.
He thinks that's where it's going.
Yeah, and so the question becomes then, do you want to go that route? Do you want to pay somebody that much money for 13 games, 12 games, and see where you are? Or do you feel like you're better served trying to go get someone at a lower price, not bargain basement, but at a lower price, who maybe is at a lower level, who's more of a risk, but he's got some experience, and roll that way, and you're banking on what you have on your roster right now? That's the dilemma. I think it's hard to sit here and say you're going to bank on Joey, because I don't know where Joey's mind and heart is in terms of playing another year of college football, and I don't know what's realistic there about a potential return for him.
James in Cleveland. Is Condridge Holloway still living in Knoxville? My understanding was yes.
Yes, he is. He and his wife Courtney are still in Knoxville, and he is retired and is enjoying life. He's gone through some medical things and some things like that, but he's Condridge is doing well. He and his wife Courtney, and they're in Knoxville. And Condridge is one of the good guys, man. He is. He's been a pleasure for me to get to know over the last 30 years. He's been a lot of fun, just standing and watching practices with him. Being at away games and things like that with him. Wealth of knowledge. Loves Tennessee. Really good guy.
Stephen Oneida, which receiver will take Chris Brazel's place, and does it look like we are going to keep the receivers we have?
I think Tennessee's in a good spot with the receivers that they have. Now, here's what we know about the portal, and this is not a cop-out answer, but anything can happen. Okay, we know that that's just the world that we live in. Anything can happen at any point, but I think Tennessee right now feels like they're in good shape with all their current receivers that would be coming back next year. And then in terms of who would step into Chris Brazel's place for the bowl game, I think that's Rodarius Jackson. I think he's the most ready. I think Travis Smith is interesting. Where is he at right now? It's been a tough year for him.
Well, the head coach was on our Thursday show this week, and when I asked him that very question, he very quickly threw Travis Smith in with Rodarius Jackson.
Well, he's healthy now.
Yeah.
And so
I think they want to see him.
Yeah, I do. I think they want to get him some snaps, and I think they want to get him involved and sort of see where he's at, let him get a better feel and let him feel like and understand where he needs to go this offseason, things like that. I think the one guy you slide in is Rodarius Jackson just because he's played the most, but I do think you'll see Travis Smith in there in a rotation of probably 4 receivers in this game.
More of your questions. We love to get them via the text line 865-657-1278. We will try to get as many in as possible. Brent Hubbs is here. I'm Mike Keith. This is Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind.
Sponsored by First Horizon. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life.
By the natural gas utilities and pipeline companies in Tennessee.
Natural gas.
Pilot, the official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. RJV Kubota, with 2 convenient locations in Knoxville and Nashville. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
From the practice court to the fourth quarter, our attitude is always the same. Confidence and commitment can easily turn dreams into reality. Where there's a dream, there's a way. And that's First Horizon's philosophy. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. That's First Horizon. Over 160 years of banking based right here in the Volunteer State. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Lady Ball basketball.
Welcome back to the Ford F-150 Truck Highlight Show.
We saw an outstanding performance today, Mike.
It wasn't just a performance, Gabe. F-150 sent a message.
Towing, payload, technology. It was one highlight after another.
Absolutely. It's game on with Ford F-150. For the latest offers on the best-selling full-size truck in Tennessee, see your local Ford dealer today. Go Vols!
Based on S&P Global Mobility total U.S. new vehicle registrations for the standard full-size pickup segment, retail year-to-date April 2025.
An ice cold Coca-Cola is perfect, but a free Coca-Cola from Sonic with endless flavors and add-ins like cherry, jalapeno, or lime, perfect just got perfecter. Whether you're into cherry vanilla with sweet cream, strawberry jalapeno, or green apple and bourbon caramel, Sonic has the perfect Coca-Cola for you. Create a Coke your way, any size, any flavor. Free for a limited time, only in the Sonic app. Live free, eat Sonic.
Limited time offer, see app for details. you want to live free, yeah, yeah.
Rackley Roofing is now the official roofer of the Vols, and Rackley is more than a roofing company. They're part of the communities where they work and live, investing in neighborhoods and opening doors to a career in an industry that's growing year after year. Rackley Roofing's mission is clear: transform the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Because Rackley believes the ladder to a great roof is only as good as the people who climb it. Rackley Roofing. Building roofs, building futures.
Mike, Brent, and you. Big Orange Rewind. Presented by Calhoun's.
19,059 saw Tennessee beat Gardner-Webb today, 94-52 at Food City Center. Time for the Rackley Roofing recap, presented by Rackley Roofing, transforming the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Rackley Roofing, the proud official roofer of the Tennessee Volunteers. Gardner-Webb got off to a 5-0 lead, holding Tennessee scoreless for the first 3+ minutes of the game. Tennessee then went on a 24-2 run, and that was about that. Yeah, that was it. Vols' biggest lead was 46 points with 13:07 remaining in the game. They end up winning by 42. For the game, Tennessee shoots 54% from the field, 32% from three, 8 of 12 at the line. They hold Gardner-Webb to 34.5%, shooting 23% from three. For Tennessee, Dwayne Brown, 6 points, 14 rebounds. Nate Ament, 8 points, 5 rebounds. Felix Akpara, 6 points, 4 rebounds. Jacoby Gillespie, 15 points, 9 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, 3 rebounds. Bishop Boswell, 7 points. J.P. Estrella, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Jalen Carey, 12 points, 6 rebounds. Amari Abram, in just under 13 minutes, 15 points on 6 of 7 shooting, 3 steals, 3 rebounds in the game. Amari Evans, 6 points, 3 rebounds. Clarence Masamba played 14 minutes, did not score. Troy Henderson, 9 points on 3 of 5 3-point shooting. Grant Hurst, Gavin Paul, and Campbell Duncan all played the final minute, 36. Tennessee is back in action on December 30th at 8 Eastern when they take on South Carolina State. Many have asked, well, that's going to be during the Music City Bowl. So can they move the game? And the answer is no. It's an SEC Network game. And because it's been slated for SEC Network, it's not going to be moved. So the Music City Bowl will start at 5:30. We'll have it on the Vol Network for you beginning at 3 Eastern time. The game against South Carolina State, Tennessee and South Carolina State, on December 30th, 7:30 Eastern time airtime, 8 o'clock tip at Food City Center. So some Vol Network stations will have the possibility to use multiple affiliates within their own buildings to, put the football game on one station and the basketball game on another. But there is going to be overlap.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, that's out of control of what the University of Tennessee could do based on the fact that it's an SEC network game. It's not an SEC plus. It's a flat SEC network game.
Yeah, and has been scheduled to be an SEC network
From
game
the start.
From the start. So this is not a late ad or something like that.
No, nobody's done anything intentionally.
Right.
It's just circumstances.
Yeah.
Tennessee happened to get picked for the bowl game that was on December 30th. So John Wilkerson and Chris Lofton will have that. And our football crew with Ramon Foster and Brent Hubbs and Jason Swain and Larry Stone and me, we will be in Nashville at Nissan Stadium.
Busy day.
It will be a very busy day on the Vol Radio Network and for our affiliate stations as well. So we're gearing up, let's put it that way. 4th Music City Bowl appearance by the Vols, 1 and 2, both losses in overtime. The win was over Nebraska, which was a pretty exciting game because Derek Barnett broke Reggie White's career sack record. And I'll never forget, Butch Jones took a timeout.
It's the right thing to do.
I thought it was the right thing to do. I mean, I think Tennessee probably would have gotten a penalty had they not, because everybody came out to celebrate. But, I mean, that was a big deal, and especially with him being a Nashville guy.
Yep. And it was, don't get the penalty here. You're not trying to show anybody
Right.
up. Let's call the timeout and let all of his teammates go out and celebrate with him, and then we'll get back and ready to play. Because it was late in the game.
Right.
Nobody wanted to feel like anybody was showing anybody up or anything like that. But that's a record that stood a long time and may stand a whole lot longer.
Could.
I mean, it stood a long time, and who knows when it'll get broken again. That was a big deal. To break that record is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Reggie White's it was a 30-plus year record that he had.
Yeah.
And he's Reggie White. I mean, you're starting any defensive line in the NFL in terms of the all-time team.
He's on it.
He's on it. Doug Atkins might be on it, too, if you know enough about Doug Atkins. You'd get a lot more argument about Doug Atkins, but he would certainly be worthy as well. I mean, that's the era before sacks.
Right.
Sack was not an official statistic till 1982.
That's a great Mount Rushmore deal. Where would you put Tennessee's defensive linemen? Where would you put the Mount Rushmore of defensive line at Tennessee? Because there's a lot of different style of players.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're going to break it out to just ends and then do tackles separate, or you're just going to do 4 defensive linemen? I mean, you got Leonard Little, who was different.
Mm-hmm.
He was different.
Well, but, I mean, let's go
way back.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you can go back. I mean, Dick Huffman is regarded as one of the greatest players to ever play at the university. He's in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, but also played in the NFL. The reason he played in Canada is because he got paid more money.
Right.
I mean, he was a great player. The NFL didn't pay great at the time. And he's another one. And then kind of on Bob Suffrage is a player who –
It's a heck of a list.
Yeah.
I mean, you start thinking about –
Elite.
Well, you start thinking about all-time great positions.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Tennessee was wide receiver U, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the running backs that they've had through the years. But don't sell the greatness or the elite players that they've had on the defensive line in this program for a long time, because they have Hall of Famers. They have a lot of really great players who have played on the defensive line at Tennessee.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, and especially more recently than in terms of, you think about John Henderson and.
Well, it's the best thing Philip Fulmer did when he became head coach.
Oh yeah, well, it changed everything.
It's not. I mean, he made 2 decisions that changed the course of I would argue changed the course of Tennessee football, created 45-5 and expectations that elevated Tennessee to a whole different place. He changed his strength and conditioning program and the direction that it went there. And then he put all of his eggs and put all of his work with his staff into recruiting defensive line. And he went out and hired quality defensive line coach, starting with Dan Brooks. That changed the landscape of Tennessee in the line of scrimmage. They changed the way that they played football in this league by those 3 decisions.
Next question on the text line, Kevin and Carnes at 865-657-1278. I'm a firm believer that Coach Johnny Majors should be in the College Football Hall of Fame as a coach, given his work in Ames, Iowa, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Knoxville. But his final stint at Pitt dinged his career winning percentage below the needed threshold. Is there any chance that can be corrected? So Coach Majors finished winning 57% of his games. Had he not coached after his Tennessee career, he would have been over 60% winning percentage, and that's the standard right now. There's been a lot of talk about that changing because of a couple of coaches who are affected in there, one of which is Mike Leach. And so there may be some coaches who get pulled up and now become part of the conversation if that does change. Again, the threshold right now is 60% win percentage. I think that's probably going to happen.
Well, I think it should. I mean, listen, we should have standards. You should have standards to get into Hall of Fames. I would never suggest that you shouldn't. But there's a lot of unique circumstances into those things. And look, did Johnny Majors make the right decision going back to Pitt the last time? I mean,
well, let me stop you for a second. they did lower it to 59.5 for Mike Leach.
Okay.
They lowered it from and he's not in yet, but they have lowered the requirement. So go ahead with what you were saying.
Well, I just think, and again, where do you put that requirement at? Because you have to have requirements. I understand that part of it. But sometimes there are circumstances beyond your control and some of that. And Coach Majors, felt a passion to go back and try to fix Pittsburgh. He wanted to coach again, and he was going to go back and try to fix Pittsburgh, and it cost him the Hall of Fame as a coach. But I think it's unfair because I also don't think he gets the credit he deserves for what he did at Iowa State, Mike.
Right.
I think people see Tony Dorsett, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee when they think of John Majors. I don't think his work at Iowa State, because it was Iowa State, it was Ames, Iowa. We live in a world where the news was a lot smaller.
Well, they were the Big 8 doormat.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he did an unbelievable job at Iowa State in what he did. And it's a shame that's some of his best work, and his best work is marred by the fact that he probably should have never gone back and coached that last time.
Yeah, he was 13-33. And if he doesn't, he stands on Iowa State, Pitt, and Tennessee.
And that's a Hall of Fame career.
That's a Hall of Fame career because of what he did at Iowa State, which you accurately point out, wins the national championship at Pittsburgh, and wins 3 SEC championships at Tennessee.
Yeah, and
he won 3 SEC championships in his last 7 years at Tennessee.
Well, and the thing he did at both Pittsburgh and at Tennessee is he fixed problems.
Mm-hmm.
Those were true rebuilds. Now, it took a long time. It took longer at Tennessee than a lot of people thought when he came back home what it was going to be. And there was enough people patient with him. And in this day and age, you're probably not that patient, but people were patient enough with him, and he finally got it to where it needed to be. And obviously, at the back end, he was winning at a very high clip. It's unfortunate because I think he has a Hall of Fame career that's just marred by a decision that wasn't the right decision and gave him he wasn't going to go up there and be successful. But again, I think people don't realize, and I realize this because I interviewed some of those guys that played for him that first year at Pitt when Tennessee went up there in 22 to play in the Johnny Majors Classic up there. And I interviewed Jackie Sherrill and some players at Pitt, and they talked about just how much of a culture change he brought and how much change they needed and how brutal that first year was with those guys trying to get that thing, going. He did really good work. Hall of Fame career that is unfortunately not in the Hall of Fame because of his last stop.
Get more of your questions via the text line at 865-657-1278 when we continue with Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouthwatering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve ball fans since 1983.
In this town, we don't just root for the team. We are the team. We rise before the sun, stay long after the lights go out. We are Big Orange Country. And with this team stands another, UT Medical Center. We heal the hurt, fuel the comeback, keep Vol Nation stronger, tougher, together, with care that never lets up. UT Medical Center, official healthcare provider of the Vols, and all of Vol Nation.
Hey, Vol Nation, it's Coach Barnes, here to remind you why Pilot is the official travel partner of Tennessee Athletics. Every season is a journey, building on what's in the rear view while keeping your eyes on the road ahead. The folks at Pilot know all about that. They're out here to help you make the most of every mile. Just like things were always better in that Tennessee orange, Every journey's better with a stop at Pilot. See you out here.
Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, continues.
This season, enjoy and celebrate with the great refreshing beverages that support University of Tennessee athletics. Light and crisp, truly hard seltzer, Twisted Tea, real brewed iced tea with a twist of lemon, Modelo brewed for full-time Ball fans, Coors Light, choose chill, and Ball Lager from Yeehaw Brewing Company, distributed across the Volunteer State by Cherokee Distributing. Remember, celebrate responsibly, and 21 means 21. Back to the text line. Adam in Nashville. Oh, this is somebody who watched our Mike Keith show on Thursday. Adam in Nashville, from a former trombone player who counted Rocky Top from 1999 through 2000. No, Rocky Top does not need to be one of our official fight songs. There was a game in Lexington where they counted Rocky Top and put it on their video board. I don't remember that. Did you remember that?
I'm sure it was. I don't know. I don't remember that. It doesn't surprise me, but I don't remember that.
Okay.
I don't know why they would have done that.
Okay.
Lexington.
Well, so the setup to this is Mike Stewart's on.
Mhm.
Dr. Michael Stewart, the director of the Pride of the Southland Band, he's on the Mike Keith show this past Thursday. Because on the text line, I've gotten so many questions about the band. I've gotten questions about all kinds of things. Some of them I don't have any idea how to answer or where to go to or whatever. But I've gotten a lot of questions about the fight song and about Rocky Top, and some people who are very pro Rocky Top except for the woo, and some people who like the woo. Are you a wooer or not a wooer? I had no idea that was a thing. I've learned that.
Yes, sir.
The second thing is the people who think Rocky Top is the fight song, which it's not, never has been, even though Tennessee has been playing it since 1972. And Dr. Stewart confirmed this is true. Tennessee may be the only school where their band plays a song that is not their official fight song more than their official fight song.
I would say that's I couldn't think of a school that would be comparable.
He said
to that.
USC has one they play. I'm not familiar with the USC band except from Fleetwood Mac and Tusk back in the 80s. They were in the video. Anyway, so
I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what the fight song is versus fight on or whatever.
So the fight song for Tennessee is Down the Field.
Right.
That's the official fight song.
Right.
Fight Vols Fight, which some people think at one time was the fight song, according to Dr. Stewart, has never been the fight song. I didn't know that. But I asked him, I said, so do you think Rocky Top ought to be made the fight song? Since it's the song, it's been the state song since 1982. This is the state university. I mean, do you think about that? And he shared with me an interesting fact, and that's what this gentleman is alluding to, which is really interesting. The trombone players actually have something that they pass down. Adam in Nashville was one. They keep count of the number of times Rocky Top is played every game, every football game.
Wow.
And like in 2022, the numbers were just astronomical because the Vols scored so many points.
Right.
So it really is, I mean, people are, as you would know, having run VolQuest for nearly 30 years and having been part of Sports Talk back in the 90s, people are quite passionate about this.
Absolutely. Very, very much so. What I'm curious is, you know, marketing people, you know, they get in a think tank, right? You're always looking for the next thing, right?
Sure.
Whether it's your fourth quarter song or
right,
whatever it is you're going to do for a pregame or a light show or whatever. Who said back in the 70s, said, you know what, let's give this Rocky Top a try and see what happens.
Jay Julian.
What caused it?
He knew the song, and he just decided to have the band start playing the song. I mean, Dr. J. Julian, who was the director of
Right.
bands for 800 years.
Just on his own, just said, hey, we're going to introduce this
play
one.
it.
We're going to play it and see what happens.
Because the song at that point was only 6 years old, six
Right.
or 7 years old. And they started playing it. And, I mean, they didn't play it all the time like they do now, but then it's continued on. In 2015, and you probably remember this, it was voted the greatest fight song in college football. It was voted the number one, and yet it's not Tennessee's fight song.
Right.
Which seems kind of crazy. So I'm not one way or the other. But so I asked Dr. Stewart, we should just play the interview. Anyway, I asked Dr. Stewart, because I'm just sitting here quoting him 82 times. I said, who would make the decision? Would it be Randy Boyd? Would it be the state legislature? Would it be the trustees? And he said, well, it would probably start with the band. We would probably make a recommendation, and then it would go through channels from there. And so I asked him, so are you going to make that recommendation? No, he wasn't getting into that at all.
I think he's just going to keep rolling it the way it's rolling right now, and then let everybody bicker on whether it's supposed to woo or not.
I don't know. Well, the woo thing, but it's not even the fight song. And so then I went in and went through the pregame routine with him. I went back and did film study on the pregame routine.
Of course you did.
And, they play fight, balls, fight when they're forming the tee. And then they open the tee and they play down the field.
Right.
Which is not even an original Tennessee song. It was originally formed at Yale. And then it was sort of fitted for Tennessee. Down the field was. And then when the band is marching off the field, they play fight, balls, fight again. I mean, you could get.
Oh no!
There is a rabbit hole with this,
listen.
and I'm going to tell you something. Everything we've posted on social media about this, the response has been unreal.
Oh sure. Well, you know my thing with it.
No,
my thing that I wish back. This is what I remember when I was young. When they finished the routine and they formed the tee for the team to run through, and the tee came together, it stayed together. And it stayed together for maybe a chorus, or it stayed together for now. Sometimes it was longer with Coach Majors. I get that, but it stayed together, and it to me it built a greater crescendo.
I agree.
Than what you're doing right now.
I agree.
And listen, what they're doing now is great. I know
you're not knocking it, but I
love it when it's squeezed together and everything builds.
But don't you think it's because of TV though that they can't?
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, whatever. But still, I mean, I just and you don't have to do it for a long period of time, but just stop with everybody together. Just stop for a second or two.
I remember 79 Notre Dame when Coach Majors didn't come out.
It wouldn't come out.
Because that game, Tennessee won 40-18. That game was not televised. And John Ward went to break.
Because they didn't come out.
Notre Dame runs on the field, and Coach Majors had really good luck against Notre Dame when he was at Pitt. And Tennessee had played Notre Dame the year before in South Bend and led that game for a period of time. Notre Dame would eventually win 31-14, but the Vols had played them very well. And so, yeah, he got in their head. That was the whole thing, is he kept so they're out there, continuing to play and wouldn't come out.
Did they have another similar situation like with Auburn?
He did that more than once, yeah.
Didn't he do that with Auburn where there was just a big delay? Like, are they coming? When are they coming?
Yeah.
You come first. No, I'm not.
Right.
And kind of.
Right.
He enjoyed that.
Oh, he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
It was theater, right?
Coach Majors loved the gamesmanship, which is why he should be in the College Football Hall of Fame.
He loved the theater.
These guys were different. Everything meant something to Coach Majors. But television took away all of the timing. Of course, I'm old enough to remember when they used to run out
on the west side.
Yeah.
Or the east side.
East side, yeah.
Yeah. Back in the old
and then they would come out both sides of the tee.
Right. It was a big deal when they went and they stopped coming out both sides of the tee. A lot of people were not happy.
It was not as fun. But the locker room was terrible.
I know.
I mean, it wasn't even really the locker room per se. And then they built a really nice locker room, so it only made sense to come out there. But the look of it, when they ran out the tee and they were coming out both ends of the tee onto the sideline, from the east to the west, it was awesome.
Yeah. that also created a lot of problem for the other team coming out because you were on their side.
You were on their sideline.
You were coming out through their
and
sideline.
In 1979, Vanderbilt ran through the man. And there are rumors about who did that, whose idea that was. A lot of rumors about that.
Don't you love that?
A lot of rumors.
Don't you love that gamesmanship?
I did. Yeah. I mean, a lot of rumors about whose idea that was. And I would never
no.
throw out a possibility.
No.
I mean,
we'll move on from that one.
You're getting into the dark recesses of conspiracies involving football.
You're in the dark web at that point.
Oh, my goodness.
For sure.
Question 865-657-1278. I will be attending my first Vols basketball game when Texas A&M comes to town. Is there something like the ball walk the football team does? I don't want to miss anything. That game is January 13th. It's a 7 o'clock game. And the basketball team just does not have the ability to do that. What they do, however, that you want to see is you'd like to watch them in warm-ups. And one fly, we all fly at the 14-minute mark of warm-ups is awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool thing they found. And again, I think they and those are some of the great ideas. You just sort of stumble into those things. I mean, checkered and dealing was a thing that just started from a fan. It was very organic that it built, and that's what's happened with this. And it's just become sort of the cool thing for that guy. As Tennessee basketball was really starting to elevate to a different level.
Right.
And when you're winning, suddenly those traditions seem really cool and a lot cooler. And that's a cool thing that they do. It's really neat.
When we come back, Kevin in Columbia's got a question. We got to have Kevin.
Yeah, we love Kevin.
865-657-1278. More of your questions. Big Orange Rewind is presented by Calhoun's. 9 convenient locations in Knoxville and surrounding areas. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
Tennessee pride runs deep from Neyland Stadium to the family farm. At Farm Credit Mid-America, we stand behind the Tennessee farmers who feed and fuel our nation, just like we cheer for the Vols on game day. Because we understand that whether you farm every day, only on the weekends, or simply enjoy time on property outside of town, we have loans to fit your needs. Because farming matters, and so does every play, every harvest, every heartbeat of Tennessee. Learn how Farm Credit Mid-America serves the great state of Tennessee at FCMA.com. Loan subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Farm Credit Mid-America is an equal opportunity lender.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Hey, Vol fans, did you know anyone can shop Co-op? We're not exclusively for farmers. We're here to supply everyone with essential supplies for farm, home, and animal. With more than 80 years of being the go-to rural lifestyle source in Big Orange Country, our family of co-ops is driven to serve you and your chore list. Find a location near you by visiting ourcoop.com and go Co-op.
The Torchbearer Flame. It's more than a symbol. It's the light of the volunteer spirit, guiding, enduring, eternal. And just like that flame, natural gas never fades. It's dependable, powerful, always fueling Tennessee. From our homes to our industries. 2 flames, 1 Tennessee. Natural gas, keeping the volunteer spirit burning bright.
Presented by Calhoun's. This is Big Orange Rewind.
In Columbia. Kevin, we're so glad to hear from you. It's no secret that next year's schedule is very difficult. Do you see Tennessee being very aggressive in the portal? Also, will Tennessee surprise us with what they spend on a transfer quarterback to keep up with the Joneses? The market says $3 to $4 million. Does Tennessee commit to that number?
The market, that may be low on the market number for some. I mean, I think what you have to find, who's the right fit? What do you need? What do you think George McIntyre is right now versus what you need? What gives you the best chance to win? I don't think necessarily spending big guarantees you anything. It's got to be the right fit. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I find it hard that these teams are going to go commit that much money to the quarterback position in the portal. Maybe they will. I mean, I think Carson Beck made right around $4 million this past year at Miami.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So they're 11-2, and they're advancing to the quarterfinals in the national championship. Have they made that money back? And I mean, I'm not talking about necessarily by advancing to the quarterfinals, have they gotten some sort of payout of $4 million?
Sure.
I'm talking about for what he's done for their program and understanding that football fuels the entire athletic department engine financially. Is it worth it?
Well, and again, the question is, when you make that decision, what are you basing that on? Are you going individual games? Because he played poor in the 2 games they lost.
No, I'm saying to lift their program for what they need in today's world, to be able to go out and say, hey, Brent, Miami fan, billionaire Brent, we need you to give us $5 million for NIL. If it's billionaire Brent and he's excited about the fact that you're in the quarterfinals, is he more likely to give you $5 million for NIL? Are you going to sell more tickets? That's the point that I make, because I think a lot of times, in particular, critics miss the boat about specific numbers in athletics. And where they miss the boat is so much of how an athletic department does is based on how people feel.
Mm-hmm.
Not just how the economy's going.
Right.
Not just how – I mean, if I feel great and I'm proud to wear that, the U on my chest, am I going to be more likely to be involved with the athletic department, buy tickets, all of the things, that happen, because every person that you put through the gate at a Miami game or anybody's game, but I'm talking about them in this case. I mean, what they're going to spend if they're inside the stadium is a pretty decent number, not just for the ticket. They're going to buy beer, or they're going to buy Coke, or they're going to buy a hot dog, or they're going to buy they're going to buy, a seat cushion or a hat or whatever. I mean, all these things impact the bottom line, and so much of it is how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
When you are proud and excited, look at what Tennessee did last year going to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that stadium was what, 30% Tennessee?
Probably, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
I mean,
it was like, what, 12 degrees?
Yeah. Yes, it was significantly
But
cold.
they went to the Horseshoe, and you know what? I mean, Tennessee didn't have a good night, and yet everybody I talked to who made the trip said it was worth it because they were proud to be there. They were excited. It was a good experience. I mean, so for the critics who get caught up in the numbers about all these things, it's like you don't understand what the passion – look what it's doing for Indiana right now, Brent.
Oh, no question.
Where they haven't had decent basketball in how long?
Forever.
Since Gene Hackman.
That's a good line.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. The question that you're always asking yourself is, you're 11-2. Is he the reason? Is he the reason why you went 11-2? Could you go on 11-2 if you paid somebody to play quarterback half that price?
But you'll never know that.
You will never know. You can't answer that question.
Right.
The same way you sit here and say, was he worth it? You're in the playoffs. You're in the next round.
Sure.
I mean, are you short at another position? Did he take money from something else?
Did somebody else come because of it?
Never know. I mean, you don't know, and so you can't look at it, and that's the hard part I think that we're trying to transition into. in college athletics is value. What is value?
And what you have around it. If you have a veteran team, are you okay with a young quarterback? Or do you say, we're going to put the money on the table right here and let it ride because we think we've got a chance to go win a championship?
Our window's open right now.
Our window's open right now.
And again, that's where the term value becomes really hard because it's not a profit loss. It's not a P&L statement.
Nope.
That's not value.
Nope. And never will be.
But I think some people want to view it as just profit loss. Okay, you paid this. Did you make this? There's a lot of variables into that, which is a challenge for college athletics because they're moving into a world they've never been a part of before.
Right.
And the market is not slowing down. This whole notion that you're going to rev share and it's going to cap it, all rev share done is raise the floor on how much money you're going to spend.
And the reason this happened is because the NCAA was not proactive 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
Had the NCAA been proactive 30 years ago,
guys would be making $100,000 right now.
Well, or maybe they're making 300 instead of 3 million because it would have started off at 25,000, but they buried their head in the sand.
Right.
And so then they allowed the courts to decide it, and the courts view it like a business because the courts don't care about the NCAA.
No.
They view it as a different situation. And so that's where it is right now until, I think Danny White's spot on with the collective bargaining part.
I think it's the only way it stops it or slows it down.
I think that's right. 865-657-1278. You get us into these great discussions when you ask your great questions. We love hearing from you on Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun.
Miss any of today's Rewind? Catch the full podcast with Mike Keith and Brett Huff. UTSports.com. We are the Vol Network. Exclusive guest, insider analysis. You know what happened, find out why and how, and what happens next. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Grab a taste after the next Tennessee game. Calhoun's.
Love your questions on Big Orange Rewind. Always want your questions on Big Orange Rewind. 865-657-1278. Always love hearing from Kevin in Columbia. He always starts a good discussion here where Brent disagrees with me no matter what.
That's not true.
It's no secret the next year's schedule is very difficult. Do you see Tennessee being aggressive in the portal? Also, will Tennessee surprise us with what they spend on a transfer quarterback to keep up with the Joneses? The market says $3 to $4 million. Does Tennessee commit to that number? Thanks.
Let's start with the big picture thing first, instead of the quarterback deal. And there's plenty of jumping off points that we'll discuss with the quarterback. Big picture. Look, you got to go spend because you got to go get help. And the whole idea that rev share was going to make things cheaper is just absolutely not true. All it's done is raise the ceiling. And so what you were getting roster-wise for $15 to $20 million 2 years ago now is going to run you $30 to $40 million. That's what rev shares equated to at this point. Tennessee has to go be aggressive in this portal. Now, that doesn't mean they have to go get 25 players in the portal, but they have to go get help in specific areas. They need help in the secondary. They've got to go get help at safety. Jim Knowles builds a lot of his defense around his safeties in the middle of the football field. So you got to go get what he's looking for to allow him to start to build his defense.
Now, when you say that, let me stop you for just a second. When you say he builds his defense around his safeties, what do you understand that to mean?
Well, I understand that they are the quarterback for him. They engineer a lot of things with him. He kind of plays three safeties, so his nickelback is more of a safety. It's to my understanding he gets them really involved in the run game. He runs a lot of different variations with safety stuff. Some of it's split safety, some of it's single high, play a center fielder. The safety position seems to have been really important to his defenses. Maybe that's an unfair statement. It's not like he devalues corners. He doesn't. but the safety position seems to carry more value than maybe some other defenses and some other programs value the safeties and what they're doing with their defense. That's
Okay.
what it feels like. But where they're at safety, where they're at corner, numbers-wise right now, they need more bodies. They just don't have enough back there right now. So I think you've got to be aggressive back there. You're going to have to go get to be able to build what you want. You know, we talk, it's interesting. You talk a lot about bringing a coach who knows your system to help you, right? You don't want to be this, you don't want to spend your first year teaching your assistant coaches how to teach your defense to the players. So is he going to bring some people with him and all that kind of stuff? We'll see. In the day and age of the transfer portal, how much help do you get if you can bring somebody with you or somebody comes to your program that's played for him before?
Well, like veteran coaches in the NFL always did. When they would switch addresses, there would always be these guys, and you'd say, oh, that guy was with him at the last stop.
Right.
Same premise.
So does that speed up your process? That's something that you look at. I think when you're talking about safety, I think you're talking about the linebacker level. I think you need help in the defensive interior as well. So to the first part of Kevin's question, aggressive, yes, I think you have to go get bodies because you need a good bit of help body-wise on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, you can spot check where you need to be. You know, with Peyton Lewis going into the transfer portal, which he announced on Sunday, that means you're going to be in the market probably for a running back to some level. I think you feel pretty good about where you're at tight end with what you have coming back. I don't know that you've got to go get a veteran there. I don't think you've got to go get a veteran receiver in this class. I don't know that you ever turned down an offensive lineman, but I think you'd like where you're at with your offensive line. Even if Lance Hurd's not back, I think you like probably where you are with your top 6 or 7 guys in the offensive line, so you don't have to go spend the money that you spent there a year ago in the portal. Then you get to the question Kevin really wants to know about. What are you going to do at quarterback? And I think that is the really fascinating part of the portal cycle for Tennessee. Where do they think they are in terms of where's George McIntyre mentally and physically being able to help? Where do you think you are with the freshman? How comfortable do you feel playing a freshman, playing a young player with little to no experience? Do you spend big money and go get a guy who's not been in your system and you're trying to get him ready in 8 months? Do you feel much better about being able to do that because you got Joey Aguilar ready this past year in 3 months, essentially? Does that make that more realistic? How much money are you willing to spend? Here's another wrinkle to it. Look at your schedule next year. Will Muschamp, DJ Durkin, Mike Elko, Blake Baker at LSU, what Vanderbilt did to you, what their defense did to you this past year. You're going to get some pretty salty defensive coordinators who are going to challenge your quarterback. And does that change what you want in the quarterback position? Does that change where you think you are right now versus what you need? It's a really fascinating decision that Josh Heupel has to make here in terms of where do you value someone in the portal, and there's a lot of big-name quarterbacks in the portal. Where do you value that person? Where's your budget? Where is your budget in relation to other positions of need, and how do you balance all of that? I think it's going to be pretty fascinating to watch.
All right, how about Lloyd's question here? You said Notre Dame opting out of a bowl game would save them money. In this day of player movement, is there still value in bowl practices? I thought that practices in general were so limited.
Bowl practice to me is not what it used to be. What it used to be was that extra spring practice. It doesn't feel like that now. And I think that's in part because you've got a limited number of days that you go through. They passed the rule where midtermers can't come early for bowl practice. Now, not that they were getting a whole lot out of that really anyway, but you're playing so many young players, Mike, in this day and age of football. So used to, when you redshirted, when you did the old Jim Grobe at Wake Forest and you redshirted an entire class, or you redshirted 80% of your class, then you get to the end of practice and bowl period and you go, hey guys, let's put the ball down. And we got a bunch of guys who didn't play on defense and a bunch of guys who didn't play on offense that are in a developmental phase. Let's play football. Okay, how many of those you got right now? Because guess what? You're playing Radarius Jackson in the bowl game because you got opts out at the wide receiver position. Travis Smith's going to be in the rotation. DeJuan Morris is a freshman who's playing at
the two tight ends.
The two tight ends are playing. David Sanders is playing. Jesse Perry's a redshirt who's playing. Flip it over to defense. Isaiah Campbell's playing. Ethan Utley's playing. Marion Dye is playing. Ty Redmond's playing. Yeah, you got a few defensive backs back there, but how many guys can you just say, hey, if they get banged up, it's no big deal? Years ago, Jaden Perlotti would probably be a guy who would fit into that category of, hey, if he gets banged up, he's got all season to get well. Let's go play football with him. Well, now you got to have him.
Right.
Because you're playing all the young guys. So
in the bowl game.
So I don't think there is the developmental value of bowl practice that there once was because of the youth that's having to play in the bowl games.
And I think that, to me, that's one of the things that's going to limit bowl games' future going forward as the playoff expands.
Agreed.
I think the bowl, like Alabama's going to play Indiana in the Rose Bowl. So I think there's going to be a Rose Bowl because I think the Rose Bowl is going to be involved with the playoff. I think, certain bowls are going to be involved with the playoff. I think the bowls that are tied into indoor stadiums are going to be in there. I think the Music City Bowl will have a great chance to be involved in an expanded playoff when new Nissan Stadium opens in 2027 because it's an indoor facility.
That's right.
And
it's in an easy travel hub,
easy.
too.
I mean, all of the places you're talking about.
And that's important.
It's not hard to get to Pasadena, California. It's not hard to get to Tempe, Arizona. It's not hard to get to Atlanta, Georgia. You're exactly right. You're 100% correct. I think you want good travel locations, and you want to make sure that you're in the situation where you have those opportunities, especially the indoor facilities.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you can't have a 6-hour weather delay like you do in September somewhere or.
That's why Indianapolis.
Well, they're indoor.
That's why they could always be a factor.
They could.
Because you need a Midwest hub. You need a Midwest place indoor. Is there another Midwest indoor stadium?
Yeah, Minneapolis.
St. Louis.
Minneapolis. Well, St. Louis doesn't have a team. And that dome is.
It's not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
So Minneapolis.
Minneapolis is a great one. They've hosted Super Bowls. Detroit. Ford Field. That's an unbelievable facility.
But do those facilities want to get involved in it? We know, we believe.
Well, the bowls
Nashville
do.
Does.
The
Right.
bowls who have the tie-ins to those sorts of facilities, a.k.a. in the thing that I'm talking about here, the Music City Bowl. But I think a lot of bowls go by the wayside
Agreed.
because of what we're talking about.
But what comes out in an expanded playoff, what bowl pops up in Detroit? What bowl pops up in Indianapolis?
be.
Because of the indoor facilities that you're talking about.
Yeah. Or do they just host like sites do in the NCAA tournament?
No.
Because, like the Final Four this year is in Indianapolis.
Right.
So, you could do it that way.
Good.
I just don't see a major future for bowls.
I think it's hard.
I think it's going to be hard as this expands.
I do think this, and I'm gonna steal this from Matt Ray, who's a part of it with us at VolQuest, but you're seeing some of this on Twitter now too. Is there going to develop, because of the group of five, the group of five deal? Everybody talking about James Madison, they're talking about Tulane this past weekend. Is there going to be a movement afoot at any point for a group of five playoff? 8 or 10 teams.
Well, what would be interesting is that if you had a group of five national champion play the Power Four national champion, like the old AFL, NFL back in the day.
Yeah,
that's probably too much to expect, but I do see it because my whole thing with and James Madison and Tulane sort of bore out what we thought. Good teams, good programs, nice years, not two of the top 12 programs in the country.
This is not college basketball.
No.
Cinderella doesn't wear their slipper in the college football.
Well, they're 68 in that case.
Right.
And, that's Cinderella doesn't generally win the national championship in the basketball tournament either.
That's correct.
They go to the Sweet 16.
And some of them, look, Butler made a run.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen it. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But Football's different than basketball.
Oh, yeah.
1-2 players, bad night in basketball can change things. Football, it's really hard.
Right.
And so, I mean, you look at these group of 5 games, and those 2 teams, those 4 teams, those 2 games could have been played 100 times. I think you could get the same result.
Well, the
100 times.
Tulane game did.
Right.
They lost in September, 40 or in October, I can't remember when. They lost 45-10, and then they lost to Ole Miss again, 41-10.
Right. I mean, it is what it is.
It's the same game.
So how much better if you took the bowls and you put a group of 5 playoff deal together, not necessarily using those bowl tie-ins, but if you created a group of 5 playoff, I mean, how interesting is James Madison and Tulane for something?
But, Brent, who watches it?
I don't know. I mean, people love football.
I understand that, but who watches it?
Well,
And,
I don't know that enough people do. It may never have a merit. I'm just wondering aloud.
And what's your attendance like? You know? I mean, I think in terms of them being deserving, in terms of it, would it be interesting? Would the hardcore football fans watch it? Absolutely.
But is TV interested in it?
Well, and TV, I mean, let's face it. The TV part of it is the so much in the middle is what matters to TV, meaning the hardcores don't get you what you need ratings-wise. The people who don't care, well, that's another group too, and that's not a huge percentage. But the people in the middle, could you get enough of them? And if you're playing at a stadium in wherever, Orlando, and there are only 20,000 people there.
But we're doing that right now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And
so is this a potential fix to hold some of them, or do they just go away?
Nah, I don't think it's there because I think the money's going to go to the playoff. And I think all the money's going to go to the playoff. It's like the NIT, Brent. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
Who won the NIT last year?
Who opted out of the NIT
last
year?
But the point is,
right.
I mean, and it's great. I mean,
but it's gone.
Right.
I mean, it's done.
Well, when we were kids, you always knew who. I mean, Tennessee went to the Final Four of the NIT and beat Louisville, and you know it was very exciting and like woo, you know, that was a big deal. But now it's like,
well, don't you think part of the reason now? I mean, when we're talking about your kids, we were kids. I mean, yeah, it was 64 teams, but it hadn't been 64 teams long, so it wasn't. It wasn't like this big, oh, well, you didn't make the tournament. Now it feels like 68 teams, like all the Power Five should make the tournament. And you don't, but that's what it feels like now.
Right.
Whereas early on, it felt like it was still really hard to get in. Man, you had 20-some odd. You had to have 20.
Well, there were so many automatic bids, too, because 87 conferences had, you know, an automatic bid, so to speak.
Right. And so now it feels like, man, if you don't make the NCAA tournament, you just had a bad year. Chalk it up, put the balls away, and go start running on the track, get ready for next year.
Right.
Is what it feels like.
And again, I'm not knocking the NIT. I'm just saying it is certainly viewed differently.
And everything has a shelf life.
Right.
And I think that the NIT is experiencing the fact that there's shelf life. The preseason NIT, that's just like what they've done in Las Vegas. How much is that going to affect Maui? We used to have the Great Alaskan Shootout. Ain't nobody going there. Nobody's going to San Juan for the San Juan Shootout. And in Puerto Rico, I mean, they don't stay forever.
Yeah, I mean the teams that played in Maui this year were not what they have been in the past.
And there are going to be less and less teams willing to go on those trips if they can go to Las Vegas for NIL money.
Which they can.
They can, because that tournament's going to grow.
Sure. Because money is undefeated.
And in college athletics, it's never been more undefeated.
When is it not undefeated?
But it's never been more undefeated.
Let's have a discussion during the break about when it's not undefeated.
Call my wife.
More of your questions, more of your comments, more of your thoughts via the text line. The Vol Network text line at 865-657-1278. Brent Hubbs, Mike Keith. Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Network.
Sponsored by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping experience. By Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, the official insurance of the Vols. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Co-op, proudly supplying your rural lifestyle in Big Orange Country. And by UT Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
This is Coach Rick Barnes, and when the Vols and Food City team up to make your holidays merry, it certainly has a big orange ring to it.
Driving the lane, taking a charge, behind the back, passes galore. Gourmet cookies, handmade candies, and cakes, the freshest produce, party trays, and more. Monstrous ducks, butchers that cut, the freshest steaks, Food City's here. Yum, yum.
The Vols and Food City bring their A game for the holidays, so you enjoy them that much more.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
Every team knows great basketball starts with the fundamentals. At Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, they do too. Trusted coverage, local agents who know you by name, and service that's there when you need it most. For auto, home, and life, they're here to protect what makes Tennessee life so special. Because when you have a strong foundation, you can focus on the road ahead. Solid fundamentals, trusted coverage, Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Get a free quote at FBITN.com.
Tennessee fans, the Vol Shop has everything you need to support the Big Orange. With a 15,000 square foot store in the Student Union and other locations on Cumberland Avenue, in the University Commons, and inside Neyland Stadium. The Vol Shop is stocked full of official gear and exclusive apparel. The Vol Shop is your go-to retailer for Tennessee merchandise. If you can't make it to campus, shop online at utvolshop.com and be sure to follow them on social media. The Vol Shop, the official campus store of the University of Tennessee.
A look back and what's next. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Your text questions at 865-657-1278. Roger in Lewisburg has a question, Brent Hubbs. All right. What's the plan for kicker next year?
Place kicker?
Yeah.
I mean, Max Gilbert's back.
Right.
I mean, Josh Tuberville should be back. Josh Tuberville can be a place kicker and kickoff specialist if you want him to be.
And he can punt.
So, I mean, I think they're okay at kicker. I don't think they have to go portal hunting or anything like that at this point. I think you're always looking for your next kicker. You're trying to find someone and develop there. But I think they're okay there. I mean, Max Gilbert's got to be more consistent. I mean, he has not had his best year, we know, but I mean, he's made a lot of kicks, and I think that's where you roll.
Well, I mean, his numbers, though,
he missed obviously a game winner against Georgia.
He missed a big kick. I get that.
And he missed a big kick against Oklahoma,
but
his career numbers are good.
34-44.
That's what I'm saying. They're good.
And he's 114 out of 114 on PATs. Yeah. So, I mean, he's making 77% of his kicks. I mean, do you throw that out the window to go out and – I mean, so Oklahoma's All-American kicker.
Missed two big ones Friday night. Two big ones Friday night, buddy.
Ooh.
I mean, and look, I mean, life of a kicker is hard. You could be great all year long, and then you miss one, and everybody remembers the one that you missed, and that's what.
But they don't beat Tennessee if he doesn't make the kicks he makes here.
No question.
I mean, he made some huge kicks in that ball game.
Absolutely.
By the way, got Illinois' numbers right here. You interested in comparing the Tennessee-Illinois tail of the tape?
Tail of the tape.
Since you won't be on the show next week because you'll be in Nashville, Jason Swain will be sitting in for you.
What an upgrade you're going to get next week.
I'm not commenting.
You're getting real football talk next week.
Total offense.
He'll have an opinion, too, unlike me. You want me to continue?
Yes. Total offense, Illinois 370, Tennessee 482. Illinois rushing, 131. Tennessee, 175. Illinois passing, 239. Tennessee, 307. Illinois on third down, 42%. Tennessee on third down, 51%. Illinois on fourth down, 12 of 20. Tennessee, 11 of 15. Inside the 20 touchdowns, Illinois 31 touchdowns, 51 trips. Tennessee 41 touchdowns, 59 trips. Tennessee 29 points per game, Illinois 29 points per game, 23 points allowed. Tennessee 41 points per game, 29 points allowed. Total defense, Illinois 351, Tennessee 396. Rush defense, Illinois 124, Tennessee 147. That's a scary number, especially when you consider conference. Because some of those numbers were taken down because of non-conference games.
Agreed.
Illinois pass defense, 227. Tennessee, 249. Illinois did not have a great pass defense. And the best guy in their secondary, Matt Bailey, is out.
And their best pass rusher.
Yes. Gabe Ackus, out. Opponent third downs against Illinois, 45%. Tennessee, 40%. Opponent fourth downs against Illinois, 14 of 27. Tennessee, 12 of 22. Illinois, 5 penalties per game for 41 yards. Tennessee, 6 for 56. They have a really good punt returner. Beatty broke Red Grange's punt return record. You've heard of Red Grange?
Yeah.
They have a stadium. They have a statue outside their stadium.
He won't get many opportunities.
I wouldn't think so.
Not with the way Jackson Ross.
I would think you'd make sure that
I would think a pretty frustrating day for him.
16.4 per punt return to Tennessee's 10.3 per punt return. And most of that for Tennessee was in the first half of the year. Kickoff return, 22.4. Tennessee, 24.4.
Yeah, whatever. That's a fair catch play.
Illinois punt coverage, 4.2. Tennessee punt coverage, 4.4.
Two good punters.
Yep.
Two good punters.
Both Australian. Very surprising, I'm sure.
Stunned, right?
Yeah.
And can kick it in every variety under the sun.
Right.
Hey, we can go whichever way. We can rugby.
Yeah.
We can kick it straight.
And there won't be any wind at Nissan
Yeah,
Stadium during the afternoon hours.
I can turn the nose down and
Right.
spin that thing 97 different directions.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It'll be fun.
Yes. Kickoff coverage, Illinois 22.5, Tennessee 18.3. Illinois 27 quarterback sacks, but Ackus had 11 of those. So I guess the real number for them is 16.
Well, and I think it's significant for Tennessee that Lance Hurd, who's going through the process of trying to decide what he's going to do, he's playing.
Yeah.
And so Tennessee's offensive line, with the exception of Wendell Moy, is going to be intact.
And J.C. Davis is not playing. Their left tackle,
right,
who may be a first-round pick.
Tennessee's Leo's. Somebody's going to have to show up at that Leo position for Tennessee.
Tennessee, 36 sacks. Illinois allowed 31 sacks. Tennessee allowed 18. Turnover ratio, +4 Illinois. They have 15 takeaways. Tennessee, +5. They have 20 takeaways. Tail of the tape.
Pretty even.
You think?
In some areas. In some areas it's got some even to it. And in other areas it certainly doesn't. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of things you like about Tennessee in this matchup, particularly when you look at some of the critical opt-outs that Illinois has. But what does Tennessee look like at the corner position? How do they play? Ty Redmond, you like, but what do they look like at with William Wright at the other corner? Where are they behind Jalen McMurray at star? Is this a 3-linebacker game? What is some of the things that William Inge is going to try to do as the interim defensive coordinator with some of the things they have going on there? I think offensively, Tennessee doesn't miss. If they stay healthy, I don't think they miss much of a beat. I like Chris Brazzell. Don't get me wrong. They're going to miss Chris Brazzell, but I do like where Rodarius Jackson's at. I think he can do things. Everything else feels like it's pretty intact for Tennessee offensively. They've not taken a hit in terms of opt-outs.
And
there.
you might get Kitzelman back. See if he tries to play.
I mean, and you don't have Peyton Lewis, and I'm not trying to knock on Peyton Lewis, but I mean, you have been feeding Deshaun Bishop more
Right.
down the stretch here.
And Peyton Lewis was your third of three backs.
Right.
I mean, statistically.
So offensively, you're kind of what you've been, you know.
But, I mean, here's the other thing. Here's the intangible. Illinois is going to really want to beat an SEC team again. They reveled in their victory over South Carolina last year. Reveled in it. And here's the other thing, and this may sound crazy. If Illinois were to win the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl, it would be the first time in their football history they've won 19 games in 2 years. They have never done it, Brett.
That's crazy.
They have matched already the best 2-year total, and I think they've done it like 3 or 4 times. But they have never won 19. I mean, they're emphasizing it. This is a chance to make history.
Mm-hmm. He's done a good job up there. Brett Bielema's done a good job. Solid football, good football coach.
Where he has done well is he's gotten a bunch of transfers from Wisconsin, where he had some ties. He's done well in the transfer portal, but he's also gone out and built them in the little towns in Illinois and some little towns in surrounding states where they have historically, when they've been good, they have gotten good players. Because obviously Illinois is a big state. Everybody thinks Chicago. Well, no. I mean, you know, there are other things other than Chicago. And they're good athletes throughout that state. It's a lot like Nebraska. You think back in the day where, I mean, a lot of their linemen have always been homegrown guys that they've been able to redshirt and build. And so he's done a lot of that too.
Well, how much is, I mean, I know Indiana has come on out of the blue here, right? But how much is there some benefit that Purdue's not been very good, Northwestern's not been very good?
There's some of that.
You know, you kind of look around at some of the other, I mean, they all can't go to Ohio State, right?
They all can't, but I mean, they haven't done what, I mean, Indiana's 2/3 transfers.
Right.
Almost. I think it's 65%, something like that. It's crazy. And that's not what they have done at Illinois.
No, he's gone through the high school and tried to build some guys.
Mhm.
And they've hit on some guys that have been good players. I mean, they have hit on guys that have been developmental players that have really, I won't say overachieved, but they've really developed well. You know?
I think you make a good point about Northwestern because what Pat Fitzgerald did well there is they were never awful. They got to where they might have a year or two where they were really good, but they were always 6, 7, 8 wins. Okay, they might have one off year and have 4 wins one year, but they never just fell off the table. And Northwestern, of course, for years was a joke. You know, they would go 3, 4 years without a victory or something like that. Illinois had gotten to the point that they had taken far too many just deep dives. Bielema, his whole idea was, as you read through different things, his whole idea was, let's get our situation to where we don't dip. Let's get our situation to we're that steady Eddie. We're going to be in it every single year. Maybe we can win 10 or 11. Maybe we can go get a Big Ten championship here and there if everything hits right. But we don't have a chance to do that if we're continuing to take dips. And so the administration has totally bought into that. And I think, too, he came back from the NFL a little bit different. He gets fired at Arkansas, and then he spends 3 years in the NFL. And I think he came back with some different ideas. Because he was a one-trick pony, it felt like, at Wisconsin and then at Arkansas.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's where he was. And again, I mean, I think when you go through what he's been through, and that was, you know, it was a stunner when he left Wisconsin, and then it goes to Arkansas and it doesn't work, and all of a sudden now you got to kind of find your footing.
Right.
And I think that he has found his footing there with a patient administration.
Mm-hmm.
They've not been, hey, year 2, why aren't you flipping this thing like everybody, like other people are doing?
It's a basketball school.
It is.
If you don't win 20 in basketball there, they think the world's in. So he's got that cover.
He does.
Which is a nice thing.
Yeah, it is. It's been a nice thing for him. And again, I think he's built it, with some stability in mind, and has not gone for necessarily a quick grab and just go heavy portal. They put some NIL money into keeping some guys, keeping Altmaier, keeping Akis, some of those guys they were able to keep. This was supposed to be the year, and it's not been the year. So how does everybody approach this game? Are they buying into what you're just talking about in terms of setting a record, or is it just kind of like this year's been a disappointment? We didn't do what we thought we were going to do coming out of the bowl game a year ago. Be curious to see kind of where both these teams are mentally.
But they're not bored with bowl games.
No, I don't think they are.
They're not. Their world doesn't end because they didn't go to the playoff. They're getting to play Tennessee.
Right. It's a different approach for where they've been, for sure.
Yeah. And I think it'll be interesting. I mean, Tennessee's going to have to, because they don't make mistakes. You got to go beat this team.
Yeah. they're not going to come down here and roll over and be done and be disinterested. That's for sure. I don't think they'll be completely, just roll over and play dead for you. I think you're right. You got to go beat them. But how different are they with some of the opt-outs? Because I feel like outside the quarterback, they've had some pretty important opt-outs.
Oh, yeah.
More so than maybe even Tennessee has. And even though Tennessee's got some
their
critical
two
opt-outs.
best defensive players and their left tackle.
And a wide receiver.
Yeah. Beatty's their real player there.
He is. So, but I feel like they've got some things that maybe you can attack a little. But where's Tennessee? Where's Tennessee defensively?
Right. Who plays?
Well, not just who plays, but think about where the Tennessee players are. Hey, we're going to play this game. We're playing with an interim defensive coordinator. What's it going to look like moving forward for all of us? Everybody's asking you, you go home for Christmas, Monday afternoon, and everybody's like, hey, what do you think of the new guy? We haven't met with him much, and, I don't know about all this stuff. I mean, where are they at in terms of being ready to play a bowl game?
Who's available, too?
Agreed.
And then what does Inge do?
Yeah.
How does he approach? I mean, he's been a defensive coordinator before. He's called defense. So how does he call it very differently from Tim Banks? Do they utilize 3 linebackers and go with, a big 7 up front? Because this group has a couple of really big backs. Mm-hmm. They've got some. They play 4 backs. 2 of them are big.
Well, I think you're coming out of Monday's practice, and you're going, all right, guys, we've seen it all. What can we do?
Right.
What do we have? What works? What can we do? Let's build around that for the final plan here, and then you get to Nashville and you finalize.
Well,
that
because
plan
they
and
know.
I
mean, we may not know who all they have. They know.
Sure. Yeah, they know where they're at, and they also know what they can handle.
Right.
What they can handle, what they can run if they don't have this player or that player, where that works against them, what's the better matchups, that type of thing, I think is what they're looking at, and what you better have a great feel for when you leave the practice field Monday.
Or do you, from a philosophy standpoint, do you say we're going to go with our foot completely on the gas and try to score so much they can't keep up with us?
Yeah.
Because, as the statistics tell us.
I think you're always trying to do that.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you put your defense in a bad spot if you try to do that.
I think, but where you've been defensively, I think you have to.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You have to go that direction. You have to go score.
I think when you look at your offense and your scoring compared to their offense and their scoring, you're saying they ain't beating us in a 42-38.
Right, and you don't want to play in a 24-21 game.
No.
That's not the win.
Because that's their game.
That's not the phone booth you want to be in.
Right.
You want to be in that wide. You want to be in a wide open, up and down the field, match my score type game is what you want to be in.
Right, because you're faster.
You're faster. You're more explosive. Go be you on offense and see if they can keep up with you. Kind of help your defense out by being offensive.
Right. Take away some of their versatility on offense because they're behind. A break. Back with more. This is Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
A farm, a family, and a tradition of premium fresh sausage that's lasted almost a century. Using only the freshest ingredients and finest cuts of meat for flavor that is locked in instantly. Each bite of Swaggerty's Farm sausage transports you back to a warm, cozy southern kitchen, leaving you satisfied and ready to take on the day. Swaggerty's Farm, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. Now available at your local retailers.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouthwatering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve Vol fans since 1983.
Vol fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
It's football time in Tennessee, and Alumni Hall is the place to gear up for your Tennessee Vols. Shop the largest and newest selection of top brands like Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, New Era, Yeti, and more. Mix and match champion tees, 2 for $38, and spend $150 to earn $10 Hall cash for your next visit. Shop AlumniHall.com. Visit Alumni Hall in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, Bristol, or Johnson City, or download their app. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping destination.
The Big Orange Rewind continues, presented by Calhoun's.
Need a haircut? With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when you're up next. Because getting a great haircut shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Greg in Cleveland has hit us up on the text line. Brent, I'm assuming that's Cleveland, Tennessee. 865-657-1278. 2 questions. First, looking back on the season, shouldn't we have played our younger quarterbacks since we lost Nico to get them ready, and we probably wouldn't be in this situation?
What games you going to play them in?
I don't know. I'm with you.
I mean, could you have played them earlier against New Mexico State? Okay. I think they took Joey Aguilar out in the first half against UAB. I think Joey got 1 series in the second half to start the ETSU game. I don't think there was many games where you could have done that. That made sense to do that.
Georgia?
No. I don't
Mississippi
think so.
State?
I don't think so.
Arkansas?
I don't think so.
Alabama?
No, sir.
Kentucky?
No, sir.
You may keep going?
No, I'm not trying to be mean, but I just don't think there was an opportunity. There were many opportunities to do that. I think when they had that opportunity, they took advantage of that opportunity. Now, if you want to sit here and look at it on hindsight and go, well, McIntyre should have got all the second-team reps because Merklinger's not staying. I don't think you knew that at the time. Okay, fine. But there's not games where you could have really put a backup quarterback in for any kind of realistic work.
And his second question, in the future with the expansion of the playoffs, could we see these bowl games start being a corporate sponsor for the playoff games on campus? For the playoff games on campus. So in essence, you would have played the Poulan Weed Eater Bowl at Oxford, Mississippi the other day. I guess that's the example he's made. So what does the sponsor get out of that? What does the bowl get out of that? You could put a sponsor on the playoff game. You could say the first round playoff games are all sponsored by FedEx. And they could all be sponsored by, and you could do, you could do that. I don't know how the bowl games fit into that because I don't know where the benefit is for either the bowl game, if it's not it's not at their location, and I don't know where the benefit is for the playoff.
Yeah, no, I think you can go. First of all, we got to see if they're going to expand the playoff. Okay, we're not there yet.
You think they will?
I think they will. I think they're going to go to 16. But again, they were supposed to make this vote in December, and they didn't. They kicked the can down the road. Now, I think based on what has happened this year, you're going to go to an expanded playoff, particularly with the Notre Dame qualifier in there for next year and the Group of 5 qualifier in there. I think to try to get your best teams in the field, you're going to have to go to 16 at least. I don't think that you do – because here's the other thing, and I don't know the answer to this because Tennessee has not hosted a playoff game. Is there any limitations on what your existing sponsorships are at your place?
Well, in most cases with that, because like if you get into that with things like the Final Four, the Super Bowl, different things, all that just gets covered up.
Right. So is that what you do in these individual homes?
I think that's what you like if you said FedEx is going to be the entire sponsor of the playoff. Like they're going to sponsor every game. This is the CFP brought to you by FedEx, and it's just all then, that's what you'd have to do.
So, I don't think that maybe, again, money drives the train, so where's the chance to make the most money?
Right.
That's what everybody's going to be looking at.
Right.
And money's not always in the sponsorship logo. Money's in the economic impact in your city and all those types of things. I think the question is going to be, how do you get more on-campus games? Do you get more on-campus games? I think that's where the expanded playoff comes in. If you can get more first-round games.
Well, if you got 16, do you even do a bye? I don't.
So then you got more first-round home games.
Right.
Which helps everybody.
Sure.
And so if that's the case, does somebody want to buy in?
Oh, yeah.
Does somebody say, okay, I want to be the sponsor of the first round? I don't know. Is that something TV wants to sell? Or
Sure.
do they like selling all these other different elements? You know what I mean? It's the Amazon pregame. It's the Amazon postgame.
They can still do the Amazon pregame and postgame, but the thing is, let's take the FedEx example. If FedEx is the sponsor of the entire CFP, well, they can put that logo on the field, in terms of create it graphically to where it's,
for the first round.
Oh, boy, you could do the whole thing. For several $100 million.
Yeah. But then, who's sponsoring the Rose Bowl currently? How long does that deal last?
But that wouldn't, but that would be something the playoff would be sponsored by somebody. But then the individual bowls, if they stay in it, would have the ability to sell a sponsorship too.
Then who gets field logos? Who gets?
Well,
I think
all those types of things. I think that's that's easy. It's who this. If they want to stay involved with the CFP, it's them. Then they could have a bowl game for the Pac-8 and whoever else is still out there.
Again, if the money's right, you can do anything.
Yes.
You can create anything if there's enough money.
I agree.
That's why you're going to have more playoff games because there's a market there for it to make more money.
Which they could have done 30 years ago.
They could have done a lot of things 30 years ago if we'd had some real leadership. That's
right.
My Christmas wish, by the way.
Is that right?
That's my Christmas wish. Let's get an adult in the room.
This is not the airing of the grievances?
This is my airing of the grievances. Let's get some adults in the room.
When do the feats of strength begin?
Let's get some adults in the room and let's start working towards fixing something for the greater good.
Well, but when have they ever done anything
for
the greater good?
I said it's my Christmas wish. I didn't say it was a reality. I wished for a lot of things for Christmas that I never got. Didn't you? Did you get every present you ever wished for?
I don't know. No one cares. But my whole thing about all of this is they could have done a 16-team playoff in the 90s. This is, let's face it, this is awesome that we have playoff games. And, we had Alabama against Oklahoma. Are you kidding me?
And the round 2 games that we got to wait 2 weeks to watch are going to be really good.
Which is dope.
They're going to be really good games.
Yeah, it's dopey.
I mean,
2 weeks.
you know, we like all of that, but some of the other things that you can fix, somebody needs to show some leadership and try to fix some things.
Well, unfortunately,
but who leads? Who's in charge?
Who leads? Who's in charge? But unfortunately, it doesn't feel like what's happened has taught a lesson. Is by not fixing something, you let it get to court. You had somebody like Ed O'Bannon who stuck with it forever and ever because he could. Mm-hmm. He didn't settle. And then there was a win, and then things just started percolating, and it all changed. And then it's out of your hands. And so for the people who say, well, I liked it better the old way, it's not going back to the old way.
The toothpaste is out of that tube.
It's gone.
And hey, here's the other thing I want while we're sitting here talking about grievances. Let's stop talking about tampering.
Right.
I don't want to hear another coach talk about tampering. Tampering's reality. It's happening. If you're not dealing with it, if you're not working, if you're going to wait and start working the portal January 2nd, you're lost. It's over for you. You got to work it earlier because that's what everybody's doing. There's no punishment for it. So let's quit talking about tampering. Tampering's happening. It's not going to stop.
Well, ever. But like the NBA, look what's going on with Giannis. You know, he wants to go play for the Knicks. So we're talking about this like, well, maybe we should make him an offer. I mean, he's open. He plays for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
My point is, this happens.
That's right. Let's quit talking about it like
this totally happens.
Like you're going to fix it. There is no
like
fix
Scott
for it.
Boras has never done this in baseball.
Yeah, it's never going to change. Yeah. Stop. I mean, every agent is where there's a reason everybody's putting out on Twitter. I'm going in the portal. Translation: call my agent.
Yeah.
I want more money.
Right.
I want to know where I'm going before January 2nd. Who's interested in me?
I want to know where I'm taking visits.
Yeah. Or maybe I don't take a visit. Maybe we get a deal done and I just show up there. But it's all happening now.
Yes.
So don't wait for it to get official because when it gets official, it's too late.
We got to get one more break.
All right.
Right, Ashley? I think so.
I don't know. She's giving me a thumbs up over
All right. We need one more break, and then we're back with more. Big Orange Rewind continues, presented by Calhoun's.
Today's Big Orange Rewind, sponsored by
First Horizon Bank, Big Bank Solutions, Small Bank Spirit, the official bank of the Vols. Swaggerty's Farm Sausage, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. By the Tennessee Fund. Join the My All campaign today at IWillGiveMyAll.com. Rackley Roofing, the official roofer of the Vols. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Vol Nation, if you're looking for quality performance apparel, look no further than Turtleson. Founded by UT alumni out of Bristol, Tennessee, Turtleson designs clothes and accessories that fit your lifestyle. From the office to the country club or the Tennessee Volunteers tailgate, Turtleson has the apparel that looks as good as it feels. Ask for Turtleson wherever you buy your volunteer gear or visit turtleson.com to learn more. Turtleson is a proud sponsor of the Vol Network. Go Vols!
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
Across the state of Tennessee, you will find towns big and small, all with that big orange passion, just like you see at First Horizon, serving communities big and small, offering big bank products with small bank passion. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. That's First Horizon. proudly serving Tennesseans for over 160 years. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Tennessee Athletics.
The Vol Network's Big Orange Rewind continues. Presented by Calhoun's.
Going to wrap this up, reminding you December 30th, it's the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl, and we will be on the air at 3 o'clock Eastern Time to bring you Tennessee and Illinois. Back next Sunday with Big Orange Rewind. Mike Keith, joined by Jason Swain. See you then.
Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
Rewind one more time to this weekend's action. Catch the podcast at utsports.com. Big Orange Rewind. We are the Vol Network.